Centricity, that record label, has these retreats that are awesome and they've been going on for a long time. And they found Lauren at one of these retreats.
She was on a feature for a band called The Assembly. And so they were at the retreat. I asked them about who's this girl on this second verse of this track. And they told me about Lauren. And during each retreat, everybody gets up and does a song. Well, the night before we're doing that, the lead singer from The Assembly, his appendix ruptures.
Oh,
Off to the hospital, and he's out for the rest of the retreat. Could Lauren sing? Could y'all just do some worship songs and let her kind of lead? And I guess, they weren't happy about it. But that's really the first time we heard Lauren really sing. And of course, that's when everybody's jaws dropped, just a really unique and special voice. That was the beginning of our journey with her. She ended up moving to town. And
a very young John Sell had been put on his first task to A&R Lauren. He was talking to Sean Moffat, a mix engineer here.
He's like, dude, I got to play this girl. Like, John played me the work tape of what she was doing, and he asked me who I thought should produce Lauren. I listened to the stuff, and I gave one name, Paul Mabry.
And so then she came over. Little did I know she was burnt out already. She kind of wanted to quit before she got started. She was kind of over people trying to make her sound like not a soulful singer.
Spent a couple of years doing development stuff and a lot of co-writing, and she waited tables at Chewy's for much of that and worked hard doing that job and writing when she could.
I heard a story. He was talking about, she calls him and says, hey, listen, I feel like I should be a nanny for a family in Atlanta or something. Maybe I'll do that instead of the music.
Yeah, she did it. It was all like, do what now? But she can be that way. She lives life pretty freely.
Why don't we just write something you want to sing? And she's like, she couldn't believe it. We wrote a song called Once and For All, and that was the beginning of our partnership. What is hard for people to understand now, I guess, after her success, is that at the time, there was not a big push behind her. The label were unsure whether it would work, but figured she was too good not to sign. It was like, well, this might be a long shot. Well, we were making that first EP. The label signed off on the first 6 songs. In that time somewhere, we wrote a Christmas song and released it. And it was called Light of the World. I just thought, let's write a song about Mary holding Jesus. And we wrote Light of the World. And a friend of ours had just had a miscarriage. And so in the bridge, I was writing these words like, for those who wait, for those who've prayed, for those who've hungered, for those who wander, behold your King, behold Messiah, Light of the World. So Chris Hauser is one of the great radio promoters. He heard that song and sent me a picture of him in the fetal position on the ground. Maybe this thing will work with Lauren. So at the end of that EP meeting, I looked at Lauren and I said, I don't think we have a song on these 6 songs that's as powerful as our Christmas song. And she said, I agree. I said, oh, well, there's this song that Jason and I wrote. It didn't kind of work. Basically, it's just sitting on the shelf. She goes, well, I want to hear it. And as I'm listening to it, I'm seeing Mary Magdalene, lady at the well, woman who's about to be stoned. All these moments where Christ stepped in to protect a woman. And I was like, my God, seems like this is a woman's song. I do the slow look over to Lauren and she's crying and I realized this is her song. I said, do you want to sing it? She said, yeah, I want to sing it now. Scrambled to get the lyric out and then she walked in and she sang it. And that's what everybody heard.
Eventually the song showed up, the How Can It Be song, and it was special. She was special, and every label prays for one of those. God was very kind to give us ours.
I mixed her first record and part of the second one. It was so special. That's like a once in a career kind of.
Yeah. Were you on the big songs, Trusting You?
Oh, yes. I was on How Can It Be, and the whole first record, and I think that yielded like 3 or 4 singles. It was probably the right call because it worked out.
It certainly did.
Subscribe for more behind-the-scenes stories of your favorite Christian artists.